Hi, my name is Kent McVay. I work at the Southern Ag Research Center, and I want to talk to you a little bit about crop rotation. This is a study we established last year to look at the effect of a previous crop on your current crop you're growing, and I'm trying to pick crops relevant to Montana. This study that I've kind of stolen the idea from was done in North Dakota several years ago, but in that case, they didn't really look at winter wheat. They didn't really look at fallow included, and so I've included some of those treatments in this study. So last year in the same location, we had strips planted north-south, and this year I planted perpendicular to that east-west, and I'm standing right now in a strip of flax, for example. So the crops that we have are flax, safflower, winter wheat, barley, spring pea, chickpea, and safflower. So the legumes, there's just one strip of each one of those. For the grass crops and safflower crops that respond to nitrogen, we have two strips, and we're fertilizing them differently. One with a normal rate that we would recommend from Montana State University's fertilizer recommendations, and the other about half that nitrogen rate. So the objective is really to look at crop rotation impact, and what kind of rotation benefit do you get from that in terms of yield and quality. But the other thing to look at over time is changes in soil properties. And so we can look at the impact of a legume in rotation versus a continuous wheat, for example, or maybe a wheat fallow system. Is there a benefit of adding a legume to that rotation, or is there a benefit of adding a taproot crop like safflower to that rotation? So that's the long-term objective of this study. Uh, Last year we were hailed out, so it's kind of a weird year this year for response. And so, because we have all that residue is beat down into it, we have some volunteer issues we had to deal with that we probably wouldn't have had to deal with so much if we had not had that hailstorm. This study is funded partially by Montana Wheat and Barley Committee, so I want to thank them for the support, and for you guys, producers that support Montana Wheat and Barley Committee with your checkoff dollars. So I'm going to walk through and we'll just look at these plots. This is two strips of flax, as you can see. We come up here, you can see the barley strips, and you can see some of the different colors as you go down the previous strips that were going the perpendicular to what we're looking at right now. There's the first strip there on the end. It's much shorter than this one here on my left. The one on my left here, I believe, was fallow last year. So we know we're going to see some differences due to that effect. You might be able to cover some of that up with nitrogen. So the two different nitrogen rates in barley strips that are side by side here might show some of that. This is safflower strips. You can see a little bit of height difference as you look down. Here are peas. Peas are turning. So won't be long to harvest. Here's a winter wheat strip. As I keep walking, we'll come into a fallow strip here. So you can see some of the residue here. This was a fallow strip here last year. This was probably spring wheat last year, or spring barley last year. There's flax residue right, the first plot right in front of you there. And we have chickpeas. And then one more strip of safflower on the outside. One thing we did learn just quickly on this year is following chickpeas is a really bad idea, mostly because of disease issues. And where we had chickpea last year is the far strip in this case. Ascochyta took it out pretty quickly. You can find just a few plants left that did not completely die, but most of them died from that disease. So I think we're going to change the design next year and replace chickpea with something else. It's just not sustainable to be able to do chickpea on top of chickpea. It'll be really good to see the influence of chickpea on wheat. With the disease, it doesn't stay just in that plot. It spreads up and down the strips, and so it's not really a sustainable way of doing this. So with that, I have no data to talk to you about. I'm just showing you the strips of what we've set up. There are 4 reps of this. I'm just walking through one of the replications. And so we'll collect data of this at harvest time and start putting everything together this fall. look back at our website for some results later on this fall. Thank you very much.